You have big plans, massive life-changing plans. You want to build an empire. You want to start that business you have been thinking about for years. You want to write that book. You want to get into incredible shape. You finally want to take absolute, uncompromising control of your life and your future. You have the ambition of a conqueror, but right now you are lying in bed, staring at your ceiling, completely paralyzed. You call yourself lazy. You call yourself undisciplined. You feel this crushing, suffocating guilt pressing down on your chest, because you know exactly what you need to do to succeed. But you just physically cannot summon the energy to do it. You are exhausted, constantly, deeply, inexplicably exhausted. Why? How can you possess so much burning ambition in your mind, but have absolutely zero energy in your physical body? The answer is not a lack of willpower. And it is definitely not a lack of discipline. Modern hustle culture loves to tell you that you are just not trying hard enough. They tell you to grind harder. They tell you to sleep less. They tell you to just force your way through the mental fog and the fatigue. But that is a biological lie. Hypostasis. The real answer is that you are a walking, breathing paradox. You are trapped in an ancient evolutionary war. A war that started 2 million years ago. Let's rewind the evolutionary clock. It is 2 million years ago in the Olduvai Gorge of East Africa. Meet Homo habilis, one of your earliest hominid ancestors. In this brutal, unforgiving prehistoric environment, food was incredibly scarce. Every single calorie had to be hunted, foraged, and viciously fought for. And survival was not about who could work the hardest or achieve the most. Running around burning precious calories unnecessarily and constantly striving to do more didn't make you a successful apex predator. It made you starve to death. The ultimate key to evolutionary success was extreme, calculated energy conservation, or as we arrogantly call it today, laziness. If you don't believe me, look at the historical and anthropological research on modern hunter-gatherers. Evolutionary anthropologists like David Raiklin have spent years closely studying the Hadza people of northern Tanzania. They are one of the last remaining true hunter-gatherer societies on planet Earth, living very much like our ancient ancestors did. And researchers made a shocking discovery about their daily physiological habits. Despite living in a harsh, physically demanding environment, the Hadza spend roughly 10 hours a day doing absolutely nothing. They sit, they squat in the dirt, they rest in the shade of the trees. Because when your next meal is entirely unpredictable, resting is not a character flaw. It is a highly optimized biological defense mechanism. Your physical body, your muscles, your nervous system, your basal ganglia was forged in this exact environment. Your body is an absolute masterpiece of energy conservation. It is deeply, genetically hardwired to resist unnecessary physical effort at all costs. Your body's primary directive is to hold on to every single calorie it can. It does not care about your startup company. It does not care about your 5-year plan. It only cares about surviving the winter. Yes. But then around 70,000 years ago, something unprecedented happened to the human species. The cognitive revolution. A sudden explosive evolutionary leap occurred in the human brain, specifically in the prefrontal cortex. For the very first time in the history of the planet, a creature developed the ability to vividly and accurately simulate the future. We could suddenly imagine things that didn't exist yet. We could plan for years in advance. We could dream of inventing agriculture. We could imagine sprawling, complex cities with thousands of people. We could dream of conquering vast, globe-spanning empires. This was the absolute birth of human ambition. Suddenly, the human animal was no longer satisfied with just surviving the day. We wanted to shape tomorrow. The prefrontal cortex became an unstoppable engine of desire and complex problem solving. It made us relentlessly want more, better, faster, stronger. And here is exactly where your modern tragedy begins. You have the mind of a futuristic god trapped inside the body of a calorie-hoarding ape. Your brain and your physical body are currently fighting a brutal, invisible war every single day. When you lie in bed thinking about your goals, Your prefrontal cortex is running hundreds of complex simulations. It is calculating severe financial risks. It is planning complex social strategies to avoid rejection. It is imagining terrifying, vivid scenarios of complete failure and public humiliation, and simulating the future costs energy, a massive amount of energy. The human brain only accounts for roughly 2% of your total body weight, but it burns a staggering 20% of your body's daily energy output. When you are aggressively overthinking your ambitions, your brain is quite literally draining your physical battery dry. In 1993, prominent researchers Bruce McEwen and Elliot Steller published a groundbreaking study on this exact topic. They coined a specific clinical term for this biological phenomenon: allostatic load. It refers to the severe physiological wear and tear on the body caused by chronic, unrelenting psychological stress and mental simulation. Because here is the scariest part: your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a physical threat right in front of you and an imagined threat projected by your ambition. If a tiger chases you through the jungle, your heart races, your blood pressure spikes, and you burn energy to survive. If you lay in bed worrying about an overdue project or a failing business, your body reacts the exact same way. So, while you are lying perfectly still in your comfortable modern bedroom, physically doing absolutely nothing, your internal organs are aggressively responding as if you are fighting a brutal war for your life. Herpes tusi, eventually your ancient, primitive body has had enough of the abuse. The basal ganglia and the hypothalamus slam the emergency brakes. They physically cut off your chemical motivation. They induce profound, overwhelming physical lethargy. They force a systemic shutdown to conserve whatever energy you have left. This is exactly why you feel so incredibly ambitious in your mind, but physically paralyzed in your body. It is known in clinical psychology as executive dysfunction. And the absolute worst part about all of this, you constantly punish yourself for it. But you need to hear this: you are not lazy. You never were. You are simply a creature carrying the heavy, exhausting weight of a modern supercomputer, stuck permanently inside a 2 million-year-old animal chassis. Your exhaustion is not a moral failure or a lack of character. It is the incredibly heavy tax you pay for the miracle of human consciousness. So the next time you find yourself paralyzed in bed, crushed by the terrible weight of your own ambitions, stop attacking yourself. Your brain has been running a high-stakes survival simulation of the future all day long. You aren't doing nothing. You are surviving. Give yourself permission to rest, because tomorrow the war between your ancient body and your modern mind begins all over again.